Hello everyone, this is Uncle Mike with my Kerbal Space Program career mode. And where we left off in mission 4 was we had just put a KEOStationary relay satellite in orbit, and not really sure the strength of the antenna and stuff. I think there's probably some upgrades we have to do to the tracking station and all that, but it was very successful, at least placing it in geostationary orbit, or KEOStationary orbit. So this is what we did last time. Let me cycle the wrong. There we go. So that is the satellite we put into pretty much a KEOStationary orbit. You can, oh, I just did it again. Pressing the wrong trigger or the wrong key on the Xbox controller here. So yes, I am playing on the Xbox One. So this is the console Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition. I think we have the Making History DLC. So if you are on the PC, then we are pretty much way behind you in terms of capabilities of KSP, but it sure is a lot of fun still. So if you look, that's what we did. And we also, in mission 4, we also did a flyby of the moon here in KSP. And we did get a free return, but we do not have control over that satellite anymore. It is out of range. And so that then is why I wanted to try to start building a relay system here. So one of the things that we also can do is we could actually get this set up, get this orbit more circularized. It's probably something that we could do here, but we can worry about that later. So what we're going to do here is we are going to try to build a network now. So we're going to try to put multiple satellites into orbit here. We can basically make then a RelaySat network. So that way we can maybe in some time get a hold of this one again. So as a test, because this is now just sitting out there. It is alive. It has battery power and some solar panels and all that. But this one right here is dead in the water in terms of control. So we need to, so as you can see, we can't even fly it or anything. So not sure why it's not letting us fly these from here. Usually it gives us an option of flying. I wonder if my HUD is dead or something. There we go. Not sure what I need to do there, but let's go ahead and fly this so you can actually see the satellite that's out here. We can at least inspect it. So we're in nighttime here, we're in the shadow of the sun. But so here's this little satellite out here. I'll try to get it so you can at least see the shape of it. And if we bring up the information about it, you can see it's got power, got solar panels here, a couple solar panels. So that should keep us powered up as it goes in its orbit. And I think if I get onto this orb body, can I rename this? And so we need to rename this here. So how do I do this? There it is, edit name. So we're going to call this Sat1. This was Sat1 Mun. So there we go. So now this should be renamed here. Go into map mode. Now Sat1 Mun, so there it is stuck out there. And over here is the other one, so we will go back, we'll go to the tracking station, switch over to that one, and we'll rename that because that is our first RelaySat. Oh, what was that? Did it actually show? A minute. I always do this. I'm hitting the wrong button. It seems like paging through should be this way. it's not. So no, that's still dead in the water. I'm not sure what I saw there. So what we will do is we'll go to this one. Let's fly this one, and we will rename it because this is our first. So here is this one. You can see it's got the high gains on it. And it's got plenty of fuel and stuff, so we can actually still maneuver this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rename this also. So this is going to be, call this KEOSync. Not even that, KEOStationary. Put this many characters in there. KEOStationary RelaySat 1. Don't even like that. Call this is relay. Real hard time here with the caps. Call this RelaySat 1. We're going to call this we're just going to call it KEO RelaySat 1. There we go. All right, so now we've got that renamed. Go back into map view. There it is, KEO RelaySat 1. So there what we're going to do is we're going to put at least another one, and I'm going to try to do it where it would be 90 degrees offset. That's what we're going to try to accomplish here. Let's go to the Space Center. So a quick mission here for mission 5 is this is going to be launching KEO RelaySat 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to go into the VAB. We're going to pull up our Comrade Mark 5, I think it was. Let's open this up. Yes, it is the Comrade Mark 5. In here is our RelaySat. There it is, right there. I don't think we can, no, we can't rename it yet because it's not really a separate vehicle. But there's our Comrade Mark 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to fly the same mission. We're going to fly it out to stationary orbit height, which is 2,863 kilometers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make the orbit. And because I don't have, this is on the Xbox One, so I did some calculations. If I'm going to put, eventually I'm going to put 4 satellites 90 degrees apart in orbit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to launch up to synchronous orbit height, 2,863 kilometers. That's according to the Kerbal Space Program wiki. And then I've calculated what my minor axis needs to be to make an orbit that is then 4.5 hours long, which is an hour and a half less than the 6 hours that it takes for Kerbin to rotate, which means then ComSat 2 should be 90 degrees out of phase because it would take 1.5 hours less time to go in an orbit. So it should be an hour and a half behind. An hour and a half from 6 is 4.5. And so, or that would be 90 degrees or a quarter of it. So that is what I am thinking, and that's what I have calculated. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and launch this. We know that the Comrade Mark 5 is a good vehicle, so we don't need to worry about that. So, and we've upgraded the VAB to carry or allow us to use more parts, but we're trying to figure out how to expand the weight. That's what I'm trying to do here. Trying to figure out how to do that. So, oh, wait a minute. I wonder if there's an upgrade for the launch pad. Well, we don't need it for this flight, but we'll check that out. That's probably what it is. So, all right. So staging is go. Throttle is set and is go. SAS is go. Flight, we are go. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. We're going to fly this same way we've been flying the last Mark 5s, which are a vertical ascent to about 100 meters per second, and then we'll start our pitch program. So 70 meters per second, 800 meters in height. We're coming up on pitch program and pitch program. We want to fly a heading of 090. We don't need a very aggressive pitch program here because we're going to reach out to 2,863 kilometers. Just want to fly a nice launch here. 090 on the heading. We are going transonic, max Q. I'm going to fly a 2G profile on the nav ball. So down over there on the right is our G meter. Once I get to about 2.5 Gs, I'll back off to 2 Gs. Heading looks good, 090, passing through 17 kilometers in altitude. Backing off the throttle to 2 Gs. We're looking real good here with in flight. Go ahead and bring up our information just so we have it. There we go. 090 on the heading. 30 kilometers in altitude. We're getting out of the real thick part of the atmosphere here, so we go ahead and start our pitch profile. Don't need to go, like I said, real shallow on this. We can stay up between about 45 to 30 degrees. We are really trying to extend out to that 2,863 kilometers, which for Kerbin is stationary orbit height. So we've already got ComSat 1, or RelaySat, not ComSat, RelaySat 1 is out there, backing off the throttle to 2 Gs. Going for MECO, we have MECO, main engine cutoff. We're now going through staging. Next burn, a little burn here to get the fuel settled in the tank, and now full burn. Everything is looking real good here with this. Let's go ahead and fairing separation. Nice fairing separation there. So here is now what will be now RelaySat 2 eventually. So alright, so what we're going to do here is now we're going to go into map mode. We are just going to fly this out to 2,863 kilometers, or 2,863,000 meters. So fly this out here. Alright, just a little burn now. We'll just go ahead and do a little correction burn. So 2,863, what we want here. 2008.5, 2008.6. Oop, went a little far, but that's all right. We will correct it later. We don't have to be exact. So now what's going to happen is, as we go up to this, we really don't need, we've got a bunch of fuel left over, and we can terminate that stuff in flight. So not too worried about that. So this is going to now be ComSat 2. So we're going to go ahead and rename this. We can also go ahead and extend all of the antenna. So we're going to extend the antenna there. Extend the antenna there. Go ahead and extend these antennas. So this is now going to be ComSat 2. So let's go ahead and do that now, so we can rename this. This is going to be then KEO RelaySat 2. All right, so this is now what we've got going on. We can now see that they're talking. So this one is just out of range or something. That out here, Sat1 Mun is just out of range, but you can see that these guys are now communicating. So here is KEO RelaySat 1. Here is KEO Relay, excuse me, wow. KEO RelaySat 2. Now, they are pretty much going to rendezvous, but then what we're going to do with this one is we're going to change its orbit. And what I've calculated is I need to change this one's periapsis. Once it gets to apoapsis, I need to do a prograde burn to get this one's periapsis, so its lowest point, about 1,654 kilometers. And then what that's going to do is that is going to make it where this is going to come up. It's going to go to apoapsis. It's going to come back down. We're going to up here. We're going to reset the periapsis, put it in orbit to 1,654 kilometers. We're going to let it do its orbit, and since its orbit's going to be an hour and a half less than this one, so when Sat2 comes back to geosynchronous or just synchronous height, it will be an hour and a half behind this one, which should make it then 90 degrees out of phase. So I would think it's going to be over here 90 degrees, which means now we're starting to build a ComSat, a RelaySat network. So that's what we are doing here in this mission. Now I could go do some things, so let's go ahead and let's go to the Space Center while that one flies, because I want to look and see if we can upgrade the launch pad. That would make us able to build heavier. We've already spent the money, and I thought that was an error, to get a better VAB. Our VAB is right now is level 2, which means we can have more parts. But the problem is that we can't have heavier parts. So we need to look at this. So yes, manage. Yeah. So right now it's this. If I upgrade for 50K, I'm buying it. So now, there we go. Now we've got more height and now 140 tons. Oh yeah. So now we probably can launch, we can really design some interesting stuff because we've got some fairly large components. Now we can just build a lot. Man, we can probably now definitely go to the Mun. We could probably go to the Mun even though we can't design any of the maneuvers. We can definitely go to the Mun, get science, fly around, get science, bring it back. Oh yeah, we're ready to go now. Oh my. We are going to start rolling in the science. I'm going to eventually need this. So, if I want to get this right here, it would be worthwhile. The aviation stuff, I'm not really too worried about because I have other paths to get to this. So I'm not really want to do airplanes because also Microsoft has announced that Microsoft Flight Simulator eventually will be coming to the Xbox One, I think in 2020 sometime. So that would be cool. So I don't necessarily want to do aviation. There's some neat components, but I think what I'm going to do is take flight control. It gives me some different fins. It gives me the reaction control. It gives me also another capsule. I think so. So let's go ahead and grab this. Then let's grab, I don't necessarily like that, but I do like this winglet. That's really cool. So I'm going to purchase that, and we're not doing any of our manned flight, our Manley program, which is named after Scott Manley, the virtual astronaut on YouTube. Make sure in the link, from the link in the description below, make sure you check out Scott's page there. It's pretty awesome. So we're probably going to eventually need to do some contracts because we're getting kind of low in funds. So there we go. We've got that going on. So we could probably even work on designing a new vehicle, but let's go ahead and finish up what mission 5 here is really all about, which is seeing if what we're trying to accomplish here, which is to start to build a ComSat network. So here's RelaySat 2. We got this debris. we can actually, now that we can terminate it because it's, so here is, and there goes ComSat 2. So let's fly that. And let's go work on here on mission 5 is putting a secondary RelaySat up. So, all right, so let's go here. Now we cannot do anything here except for we could actually now, and we are going to 50x time warp up here. So oh, 100 might be too fast, so I'm not going to do it that way. But now you'll see that these are really actually going to be pretty close to rendezvousing. But the other good thing that you can see now with our ComSat is the satellites are communicating amongst each other. That's that green lines there. So that's good to see because that Sat-1 MUN is out there all by itself. And I think it's because it just doesn't have strong enough antenna. So we're going to have to wait for it to come back perhaps in an orbit. But if it gets just too far out, it's just dead in the water. And we could have it maybe as a like a rescue mission or just practice. But now you can see what's happening with our orbit. So here they come. You can see how RelaySat 1 is real fast now. And RelaySat 2 is slowing down. Slowing down. So we're actually going to have somewhat of a rendezvous here, which is really cool to think about. Look at that approach speed. That is really neat. Let's come out of warp. Let's go back to our vehicle. So here is ComSat 2. Everything's looking good. Good battery power. Let's go ahead and get this into prograde. And remember what we're trying to accomplish here. We are trying to do a prograde burn. We need to start it real soon, actually. We want to do a prograde burn. And I'm going to go back to map mode here. So prograde burn. And we're going to set our periapsis to 1,654. Here we go. We're going to burn. Probably going to run out of fuel, but we'll see here on this stage. Okay, we got another stage. There we go. So we're going to need to now stage. We can terminate this debris. There goes separation. Activate the engine. So we got staging. Everything looks good. Now we shall just continue to burn. We're looking for 1,654 kilometers based on, I just did some simple calculations, and so I'm pretty sure that's close. So 1,654. Get a 4.5 hour orbit. We'll burn here. There we go. 1,654 kilometers. All right, so that is what I'm expecting here. So now, see, it's a 6 hour, so basically a 4.5 hour flight. Now, what we can do is we could launch another one, but we need to probably do some contracts while we wait here. So let's go ahead and go to the tracking station. And let's, so of course we can blow that, but it's pretty close, so I don't want to do any damage yet. So I'm going to go ahead and let that fall away for a couple hours before we do anything there. But we've got a really nice start to build a ComSat here. I really, really like this now. This is really doing exactly what I wanted it to do. But what we could do actually is we could, that's about 3 hours. We could, yeah, we're going to go to RelaySat 1 and we're going to get its orbit to be really circularized at sync orbit. Look at that. That is a great shot. I really like that. That's pretty cool. I don't think we can see the other satellite. They're really too far away. That is just a cool little shot right there. right, yeah, I really like that. That's what, can I like rotate this somehow? Different views. That, I guess I'm gonna go with that right there. I want a screenshot. Basically what I'm doing here. Well, that's cool with it in silhouette like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple here just to make sure. Redundancy. Need redundancy. All right, so I am at here ComSat 1, and what we're going to do is we are now going to look at its orbital. Well, it's too high there and a little too low there. So what we are going to do is we are going to warp around at 100x. I think 1,000, that's good. All right, so go ahead and come. I'm always a little weary of time warp in games because it's just you do it and then you do it like 40 times too much. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and then we are going to raise our periapsis to 2,863, and it's just a little bit of change too. So everything's looking real good here. You can see the differences in orbit that we've got. That looks like about a 45-degree angle, so I think we're going to be right on here. See how it looks. So we'll only have to warp just a little bit to wait for ComSat 2 to get into position. So all right, going to come out of warp here. Now we are going to want to do a prograde burn. So go ahead and get ComSat 1 here in position for a prograde burn. 090 on the heading. Bring up our information, our resource information. Got the little ant engine on this. We'll go ahead and look at the vehicle. So here's the vehicle. Little ant engine there that you can see. Go ahead and set our periapsis so we can see it. We're just going to do a prograde bird, a little prograde bird, just a little bit of throttle on that ant engine and raise our periapsis, our lowest point of the orbit, to 2,863 and some change. So I need to raise it just like 1 kilometer. So it's really, really short, small maneuver here. And you can see that that satellite is basically pretty much staying right over the Space Center. That's exactly what we want to do. So, all right, prograde burn here. The little burn. Go and ignition. We went a little far, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate. I really need to reset the thrust of these engines because that's even just too much. They need to be like 50% or less because I'm not really going to use these ever again. I'm just going to get them in orbit. Now we're retrograde, 270 on the heading. There we go. I think that's about, I like that better. I think that's what it is. It's like 2,863,000 and just like a quarter, so a change. 289 looks good. So now we're looking real good. Let's just go ahead and look and see what the vehicle looks like. But Stell is getting some charge. Everything's looking really, really good. Of course, as it goes through its rotation, it will then, get sun, not get sun, and all that. So let's go ahead and just rotate this. What I really want to do is just go ahead and have it where it's looking at the sun to start with. There we go. So we're going to put it in that type of orbit, or at least orientation. I'm going to go ahead and turn off SAS. There's no reason to have SAS on because it's just sitting out there, and we'll just have it basically look at the sun. So there we go. With that, everything looking really good with this flight. All right, so let's go back to tracking station. Let's go to relay. I keep saying ComSat. I guess I should have named it ComSat. Let's go to RelaySat 2 because it now is going to get up here. It is in a quicker orbit, so it's going to get back up faster. So it's actually going to be ahead of our orbit, but it's going to get there sooner. So let's go ahead now, RelaySat 2. So let's fly it. Then we're going to go ahead and time warp up. What we're going to have to do here is when this gets now to back up to its apoapsis up here, so what we're going to do is we're going to do another burn and circularize. So what I'm going to do is, I should have done this back here, but it's not that big of a deal. We are going to go to retrograde. And what we're going to do is we are just going to bring down our apoapsis down to synchronization height. That's what we're going to do. But before we do that, we are actually going to go to the vehicle here, and we are going to limit this ANT's thrust down to 20%. Looks great. I like that. That way we can do much finer movements. All right, so let's go ahead and pin that. 270. 2863 and some change is what we're looking for. 863 and some change. So just a little corrective burn here to bring down that apoapsis to 2863 and some change. 863. About the same as what we had before. I think that's almost exact. So there we go. Now what we'll do is we'll just time warp up to that apoapsis and circularize, and now you will see that we should be about 90 degrees offset. Of course, we did start already ahead a little bit more than what I wanted to, so go to 100. In all reality, all we want to make sure that we do is that we just have them in communication with each other. I really want that triangle as you see there. Not really sure what that, I guess that line might mean the signal strength, because notice that the signal strength has gotten less. But we're still in contact with the Space Center, so that's good. But looks like this is really working out. Right, we're now going to come out of warp. Go ahead and get on prograde here. We are now going to want to do a burn to basically get us periapsis and circularize. That's really what we want to do. That looks pretty good, I have to say. That looks, like I said, they are talking to each other now. I can, see that. Gives us then, more talking. Still doesn't, it's out to that one. So here we go, full burn. We just want to raise that up. Remember, I did reduce the thrust of the engine down to 20%, so it's going to be a much longer burn, but that's okay. We're so far out here. See, so got plenty of time here for this burn. I'm not even worried about a few kilometers or something like that off. We're just raising that periapsis up here. to 2863 and change. We're basically circularizing just like we have the apoapsis. We want the apoapsis and the periapsis to be the same. Everything's looking good here. Got plenty of fuel for the maneuver, plenty of electrical charge. And eventually, as we upgrade to better components, we'll also be upgrading these satellites. So we'll be constantly building new satellites, putting them up, doing this again because, like I said, we are in career mode. So we are going to be having to construct our RelaySat network. So looking good here, still burning. We're on heading 090. We're at 2,200 kilometers. Again, we're going to need to probably start doing some contracts to get money. We haven't really been doing contracts at all here. So 2863. Fly the vehicle a little bit. Stop our apoapsis from increasing so much. So it's coming back down. That's good. Periapsis is still getting out there. 2863 is what we want to circularize. Looking good. Like what we've got going on here. Right, periapsis is at 2630. Really starting to build now a ComSat network. Good. Went up on 2750. Trying to circularize. Oh, there we go. So 2864, 648, 28. So pretty good there. We can, manipulate those a little bit, but that is really good because, like I said, we do have this. I'm not even sure what that line means. So there are the ones that are talking. Path. The vessel links. Okay, so that's what that means. Vessel links, and then the network. So it looks as if, that's interesting. So we do have now a relay net here. So these vehicles are talking to each other. That is what that line means, is vessel links. So there is our Sat-1 MUN way out there, outside the orbit of the MUN. It actually could possibly do a rendezvous right here, which would be very, very interesting. So there is the start of our ComSat. So it did actually work with this relay network that we kind of planned. And so now what I can do is just every time, what I can do is I can just launch another Mark V and then go ahead and put it into a 4.5 hour orbit. And now the next one, what we'll do is we'll just let it do twice around. So 2 orbits. Let's just think about this. If I launch again and then let it go once around, come back here, and then if we did it again, right? So yeah, that should work. That should work. So we are just in the process here of building, but I like this right here because now this one does reach out farther. So I don't know if it would get us to the MUN. I think this one is dead in the water because of its antenna. So let me show you that. So I'm pretty sure that that's why this one is dead in the water. And so I think we probably can go ahead and terminate it, because this only has these little antenna, and I just don't think they're strong enough. That's why we can't communicate. Well, we could actually just try it and see what would happen. If just see what happens if it did get closer. So we might just leave it out there for one more lap, see what happens. If you're wondering about what this blue line is, purple line, that's a mission that we can do. If we put a satellite into that's a contract, or not a mission, a contract that we could do. So yeah, everything's looking real good here. I like this now that we're starting to build a ComSat. We've upgraded the launch pad. So yeah, so what I did here again, just to, let's go ahead and look at ComSat. But ComSat 1, so let's show you what I did here. So what I did was I launched ComSat 1, I circularized so it's in a stationary orbit. Then what we did is we launched exactly the same vehicle, the Comrade Mark V. By the way, the Comrade program is named after Admiral Andre, who's also a virtual astronaut on YouTube. So his YouTube link is in the description below, so check that out. So the Comrade program launched another RelaySat, but what we did is off stream here, or off YouTube, I calculated basically that we needed about a 4.5 hour orbit, which made the periapsis of that orbit like 1,654, which meant that ComSat 2 went around orbit in 4.5 hours rather than the 6 hours that Kerbin takes to rotate, or that a satellite would need to be in stationary orbit. So 90 degrees is roughly an hour and a half off. So what we can do next time is we can just send out one, and then we'll let it go around once and then around again. And therefore, it'll now be 3 hours offset, which means we should get the other spoke over here. And we can always play around with these and make it, better, but that's pretty close for our purpose. Again, we're making these synchronized actually with the center of Kerbin. So what actually happens then with that is, with the center of Kerbin, that's why it's offset a little bit. It's not actually in relation to the Space Center. So we do it again, it should be, then we should have one somewhere over here, and so that way we start to get a really good, and then what we can do is we could actually send one in polar orbit around. That would be cool too. So that way we really have a great network. Really, really good network. Yeah, that would be really cool. All right, so yes, let's go ahead and go out here. So we are building our ComSat, our RelaySat network, to do more unmanned of our Comrade program here. And the next step will probably be to see if we could actually send a ComSat or a RelaySat, so a Comrade Mark V, or I guess the Mark IV. Let's look at that real quick, because that would be definitely maybe mission 6. Mission 6 here would actually be to send a RelaySat, or not even a RelaySat, the Mark IV vehicle. Let's open up the Mark IV. Didn't we remember? Mark IV vehicle. Yes. Because the Mark IV vehicle has, it has the start of, right, so the Mark IV was, not sure what I did there. That should not be what it is. But maybe we'll redo the Comrade Mark IV, and we'll make it then just a science vehicle. That's probably what we need to do. Yeah, oh, that's right. We did this for a test. So we could actually do that before. Let me just go ahead, and I'm going to put some science to remind myself that is the purpose of this vehicle. What I want to do here is I think we built this once before, but then we changed it. So that's going to be our science. So this will be, so let's call this the Mark IV. Yeah, this will be the Mark IV. Let's add something to the description though. This will be a Science probe. So it'll be a Sci probe, a SciSat. Science. Probe. Just so we remember what this is when we come back for mission 6. Be to finish redesigning this, then sending this around the mun, gathering science. Oh, that would be great. Of course, we'll need to redesign it. We'll need to put a parachute. Guess I could actually think about while I'm here. So yeah, we would need to put a parachute on. We did this once before, then we kind of, we want to say we kind of cannibalize this to do some other stuff. So we know we're going to need RelaySats. Got plenty of components and weight, so we should be able to have a good time with this. So let's. There is our. We got those 2 sats. We know we're going to need. We'll do this later. So Comrade Mark IV will be our science probe that we will send around the mun in mission 6. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So Mark V, go ahead and open this up. Let's open up the Mark V. Let's change this. So this will be RelaySat. Just so we remember what the difference is between the Mark IV and the Mark V. Very, very good. So there's the Mark V. And here is the Mark IV. And put more science. We got to finish building it. We got to put a heat shield on it, and we got a parachute, but science panels and all that kind of stuff. But it's basically the same vehicle, just with different components in here. So we'll need, like I said, the heat shield and all of this. So basically the same vehicle. All right, so let's go ahead and return to the Space Center. So yeah, so here in mission 5, we went ahead and we put our second RelaySat up. We did ahead and made it into a 4.5 hour orbit, made it 90 degrees out of phase with the other one to start to build our RelaySat network, which really looks successful. So this should really be able to get us, hopefully, to control a satellite that can then do a flyby of the mun. We did that once before, but now we have lost control of that vehicle, the Sat-1 mun. So you are amazing. So a thumbs up because you are amazing. Subscribe, chime that bell to get notified. I am Uncle Mike.